So here are my giant picture windows installed by the same company in that 2-for-1 special. And these are complete teardown projects because it is a 1949 and both lumber and windows and doors, all three of those have been reduced in size over the years to, of course, reduce costs. But these were custom windows, like I said, with the garage, that were custom measured and custom ordered from a company, and they came out measured twice. And I do think, by the looks of it, the measurements were wrong on these windows too, and that they also put these in anyway. So the lie I was told is, yeah, I have aluminum siding. Don't mind the cruddy paint job. I tried and failed. But the aluminum siding needs to be a tight J channel, this is called. So when the water hits the house, even though there's this little gap here, there is aluminum behind it called a channel, so that the water runs down and sheds right off. Sheds right off right there. And this is a beautiful pro original loom job. Look at how beautiful and tight that fit is. It's beautiful, it's snug. I don't want to get rid of aluminum siding. These companies, many companies are telling people today to get rid of their aluminum siding. They say, they bring up that it dents, but also a lie I was told is that it conducts electricity, so they're getting rid of it. Well, if you have some kind of electrical problem on the outside, yeah, the electricity is going to travel. I've seen a video. It's kind of cool, but it will travel around the outside of your house. But your house is wood, and wood doesn't conduct electricity. It's not going to go through your wood. It's not really going to do much, but it sure is pretty, right? So aluminum lasts forever. I know that online it says, oh, it only lasts 30 years. Nah, this has been here since, they told me that this isn't original. This is a 49. They said it's probably cedar shake underneath, but you can be sure that this job is, it's going to be maybe 25, 30 years old. It's still solid. It's still good. They did an amazing job. There's no reason to take this off. There's not. Aluminum does not oxidize, and that's the great thing about it and why it was used. People also say, oh, it's loud and it pops and blah blah as it expands and contracts. Yes, I hear my house popping. Does it bother me to have some pops? Hear a few pops around my house at night? No, it doesn't last long. So when the front of my house heats up, they'll be popping. When it cools down, they'll be popping. It doesn't last long, and it's not loud. It doesn't bother me at all. It's just my house heating and cooling like it's supposed to. It's a great insulator. Another thing they bring up is that, it conducts heat, so it gets too hot and then too cold and blah. Wood does not conduct heat very well, and the outside of your house underneath this is wood, and so you'll notice here, you can kind of push it in. There is a gap there, an insulatory gap behind your aluminum here. You'll see. And then there's shed holes here in case water gets in. But this gap here will allow the aluminum and the wood to expand and contract like it's supposed to. And so it will get hot between the aluminum and the wood, but the wood insulates. The wood is not going to heat up like the aluminum. So it's really not that big a deal. There is air behind here to circulate it. There are holes to get in some air, but not water. So I'm keeping my siding. I was lied to and told that I needed to get rid of it. No, you don't. I know I did a video on what people are being told. So let's take a look at what they did. Obviously, That is no good. I don't know what this goo is, but you can see here it's not flush. It's sticking out. So moisture is going to get in there. The ends of your lumber is extremely porous, of course. And that's just going to wick water up and rot out. And there's that gap. The wee pool hair has been somewhat cocked over. And yeah, and here's another gap. Look at that. That is not good. You never ever do this, right? I'm not happy with this job at all. So, a word about your vintage windows and complete teardowns. The reason they need to be torn down, of course, is because they no longer fit. But in this case, with custom ordered, where it's supposed to be pre-measured properly, you are supposed to do a complete teardown. So let's see what this is. These old windows, now there used to be stormers here, and you can see the holes from where the stormer's attached. And so with these vintage windows, they are deep set on the outside, shallow set on the inside. And that's so that the stormers go across, and there's this beautiful inset across the bottom. This thing is really big. It goes pretty far in. Now, to shed water, it is, you can see, it's tilted so that the water just sheds right off beautifully, right? But look at the difference there between, here's where your new windows come out, and this here is just not good. This needs to be flush, right? You can't have like this gapping here. That needs to be smooth and flush. And the inside of these windows, on the inside, they're slightly bent too. And they're beautiful. I love vintage and antique windows. They're a marvel of engineering and architecture. So basically what we've got here is this one is slightly tilted. They're slightly tilted because the inside is tilted. That's why they don't line up. Yeah. Now, how they lied is I asked them, do you do aluminum casing? That is what this is called. This is casing. It's bent. There's aluminum bending machines. It's bent, or it comes pre-fitted, and then it is cut and nailed in place to make this beautiful fold. It's great work. Look at how beautiful that is. That is what they needed to do. That is what I asked them if they did, because this needs to be covered in aluminum. You can't leave this open. You don't do that. If you have aluminum siding, you really need to get with the program and get some aluminum over that, because this is not going to stay put. And look at all that dirt. So they installed in December, and one of the high pressure sales tactics and lies these big corporate construction companies do is these windows came in December, and I asked them, here's the lie. I said, can you please hold on to them until the summer, because I don't want my house open in the winter. And they said no. If you're a pro window construction company, you can time it so the windows either come in the summer, do your job managing, or don't you think you have a place to store windows if they come in the winter? Shouldn't you have a facility where you can just store these? A heated storage area. If you're a professional company, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you have a place to be able to store the windows temporarily over if they come in the winter, so that they can install in the summertime? Because what happens when you open a house in the winter? Moisture gets in. Moisture gets into the house. You've got a giant hole. Not only that, but I have tropical plants, and it was freezing cold in that house. It was miserable. It really was. And you just don't do that because, again, it's wet. You don't want moisture getting into your house. So these, anytime you're working on windows, doors, siding, etc., it's always done in the summer. Same, you don't roof in the winter because it's wet and it's cold and you want your wood to be dry, correct? Right. And so these are bent because this on the inside is slightly bent. They lied. Not only told me, no, cannot store your windows because we can't guarantee they won't get damaged. Oh gosh. Really? Wow. Is that professional or yeah? That's no good. That's no good. It's a lie. They just don't want to have a place to store them to save money. Right? Yeah. Furthermore, how they lied is I asked them if they do the aluminum casing, and they said yes. Because there shouldn't be any gaps. It needs to be custom cut beautifully. This part needs to be flush. You can see that's not flush because you want to be sure that you have no gaps between these, that there's a nice tight squeeze. You got to guarantee that. Okay, because caulk is not intended to be used in this manner where you have this giant and goopy mess. Caulk is like here. Caulk is something that you do just a little smudging along the outside to seal in any small gaps in your custom fit wood. Small gaps. Okay, this caulking, like you saw in the garage windows, see, this is not curing either because good grief. So they told me they don't guarantee against leaks, and that I need to paint it immediately. Now this is in December. Spokane gets absolutely freaking freezing in the winter. Does paint cure when it's 32 to 20 degrees outside? What if it gets snowed and rained on? Yeah. And as you can see, we get mud. Our soil here is less, so it's really fine. And everything gets covered in a coating of mud over the winter. It blows in from the prairies and across the state, and we get the sideways rainstorms and coat everything with fine mud. Come around the front here, and you can see how really dirty that got. And you'll see here that it's peeling away too because there's some more gaps, and it's sloppy and uneven, and it's just gonna peel off because there's too much here. It shouldn't be like that. I look at the horrible job and how it just smears and smudges. This is still not cured either. So they needed to take out the tilted sill plate area and custom fit the wood. This has the nail holes in it. You need to take that off. But they lied and said that they do aluminum casing. And I called them back and I said, aren't you going to case it in, are you done? Aren't you going to case it in aluminum? Because you told me that you were going to do that. And he looked down pretty upset because after this was done, when I called him, I said, do you do the aluminum casing? You know, are you going to do this? No, actually we don't. What? So you stole the contract from the company that did my door that I was really happy with. Look at that job. Look at this casing job, right? See, this is how you caulk, is you're just using a little bit to seal stuff in, right? You're just using a little bit of caulk here. But it's tight. It's custom fit. It goes right in. You get a little bit of caulk here just in case. You know, real nice, snug job. So I asked him if he would do this kind of casing. He said yes. After the fact, he said, no, actually, we don't do that. And I said, I asked you if you did aluminum casing, and you said yes. And all he could do was look down. And they're not coming back because their salesperson, this window here is a little bit flawed, and their salesperson was supposed to contact me to reorder a better window. Nobody contacted me for 6 months, I think it was. And it was their sales lady. I forgot her name. I don't memorize their names. And so I got a text from a random lady saying, hi, this is so-and-so. How is, and she gave my address, blah, 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 going. Can I place a bid because I need a new project? So rather than contacting me about replacing a flawed window, she contacted me first thing wanting to buy my house because she needed a new project. So I blocked her. And I haven't heard from the company since. I had someone who does aluminum casing come out, and he wouldn't even touch my house. He doesn't feel comfortable touching this kind of stuff because it is so messed up. He took photographs, and he was so freaked out and angry when he saw this that he took photographs, and he said, yes, report this to the Attorney General immediately because this is terrible. Absolutely, his words, unacceptable. And it is. So they lied to get my contract. And then their saleswoman wanted to buy my house to flip it and make money. That's disgusting. So these company giants, one of them is Bella, and the person who did my windows is called Now Remodeling, and they are Washington and Idaho. So Now Remodeling is taking disgusting shortcuts. They're high pressure. They're bam, get as many done as possible, regardless of the time of year, regardless if moisture gets into the house, regardless if they can paint it to protect it against leaks. I was supposed to paint this in December. And you can see all this dirt that comes, this is normal over the winter. You can't paint on top of dirt, and they know that it's going to happen. They know that paint isn't going to cure in the middle of winter in sub-zero temperatures, right? And they know that this caulk is going to attract dirt, making it not possible to actually paint. And with the gaps they have here, I'm supposed to paint over this mess. This goopy mess. I am supposed to just slap paint over and color good. This needs to be flush. There can't be these kinds of giant gaps. This caulk will never cure. It attracts dirt. Because they did it in December, there's no way to paint that ant. This isn't flush. It's not going to work. It's not going to stay. So, yeah, this needed to be flush, custom, overpainted in aluminum. They needed to take out this. Now, the other thing you'll notice is that this one, the window is further out on this one than it is on the other one. So, another predatory lying company that overcharges is called Bella. So Now Remodeling and Bella are scam companies. They have specialty sales people that are high pressure. They love putting liens against your house. They do their own financing, which is, of course, super high interest, so that they can put a lien against your house or flat out take your house. And that is their motto, is to just take people's homes. And as the woman said, hey, can I bid on your house? Yeah. So beware of these big company giants. Go do your research. Nextdoor is a great place to ask for small local contractors. Now, the fellow that I had come out was to case, because none of my other windows, the flippers didn't case those in aluminum. So I got a quote. His quote was double what it should have been. But the main thing is getting this done right and getting that aluminum on it and making it beautiful and flush for your customers, because this is no good. So I will be writing the Attorney General. He took pictures to report it, and I am simply going to report it because your Attorney General is there to protect you from scams like this. Okay, so if you run into anything like this where the company is just no good. Now, this was a $10,000 job. For $10,000, that's horrible. You would expect a lovely job. This is not acceptable. This needs to be flush. Okay, they needed to custom cut this stuff. They needed to come with their saws, set up shop on my lawn, cut it, get it flush, and then flash it off with aluminum. But they lied instead. So if you run into anything like this, is predatory, don't go with a giant construction company. Do your research, ask around, do your local contractors, because they are experienced and they will come out with their saws and they will do a good job, and they do know to remove rotted wood, and they will tell you, look, I found rot, here it is, it needs to be replaced, right? Yeah. So that's my story. That is what happened to me. And we'll see what happens with the Attorney General. And I'll do a quick video on that too. So, you guys, bad window job has to be redone. This is exactly what you want to look for bad work. Okay? These are the problems you may run into, that you just don't do this stuff. You just don't. One window is in further than the other's out further than the other. You can put windows in from the inside or the outside. They did one way, one the other way. It just, get it together, you guys. But no, they don't. They sub out to people who don't speak English, may not be skilled properly. They don't care. They hire anybody. And they don't have the proper equipment. They come out at the wrong time of the year. They don't speak English. They're rushed. You can tell they're stressed out. And they get out of there fast. They're crabby. Not approachable. And yeah, it's sad what's happening to America. But there you go. There's what a bad window job looks like. And like I said, I will contact Attorney General and maybe do a little video on that. But look how dirty and disgusting that is compared to the door, right? Yeah. So, we'll see. Anyway, take care, and yeah, don't get scammed. Now, part of this, I think, is probably because I'm a single woman. Single women face a lot of judgment, and we're assumed not very intelligent, unfortunately, and easily are preyed upon. We are a big target for scams. So take care, you guys. And here is one way to not get scammed. Pay attention to companies. No Now Remodeling, no Dabella. Okay? Thank you. Love y'all.